My name is Andrea Falkowski. I am in my third year of college, working towards a bachelor's degree in nutrition and health sciences at the University of Massachusetts. It is no surprise that this semester has been unique due to the outbreak of COVID-19. While we are in the middle of a global pandemic, we are trying to figure out the true cause and effect of this virus. I have chosen to focus my area of research on how good integrity of the gut microbiome may protect us from hospitalizations or fatalities from COVID-19. In this presentation, I will briefly explain what COVID-19 is. I will go over the importance of the gut microbiome and define a healthy gut. I will then compare risk factors of COVID-19 to health conditions of an unhealthy gut. I will show evidence from current research being done on this topic and share my recommendation to protect people from bad outcomes of the virus. The definition of COVID-19 found directly on the CDC's website is coronavirus disease 2019 is a respiratory illness that can spread from person to person. There are many types of human coronaviruses, including some that commonly cause mild upper respiratory tract illnesses. I included a global map to show where the virus is most prevalent. As of November 2020, there have been more than 50 million worldwide cases and 1.26 million worldwide deaths. The map shows cases are more common in the United States, Europe, and China. I do want to point out that this could be because people have more access to testing and population size is more significant. However, this should not discredit or dismiss my research. When we look at the risk factors to COVID-19 that result in hospitalizations and fatalities, there seems to be a trend that the severe cases of COVID-19 come from people who are already suffering from pre-existing health conditions. These conditions include cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, elderly, chronic pulmonary disease, liver and kidney disease, and cancer. I will be going back to these after we discuss the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is a community of microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, viruses, protozoa, and archaea. There is a symbiotic relationship between humans and their microbiome. This means human cells and the bacteria depend on and benefit from each other. The microbiome plays a critical role in regulating the immune system, and a healthy microbiome can promote the growth of species who carry out anti-inflammatory processes in the body. So the most important role our gut microbiome plays is regulating inflammation and immune response. As inflammation accumulates in our body, our ability to carry out immune responses decreases. Over time, this can lead to health conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, stroke, Parkinson's disease, and more. I included age on here because as we get older, we do accumulate more inflammation. Now you can notice that these health conditions are the same as what leads to bad outcomes in COVID-19 patients. In my research, I came across a paper written by Debhote Dar and Abhishek Mahante titled Gut Microbiome and COVID-19, Possible Link and Implications. They recognize that diet, environmental changes, and genetics shape our microbiome and increase immunity. They agree that improving the gut microbiome may lower the risk of bad outcomes in elderly people and immune-compromised patients when it comes to COVID-19. They also state there is a relationship between the gut microbiome and the lungs called the gut-lung axis. We know that COVID-19 is a virus that affects the respiratory tract, so it is crucial that we find a relationship between the gut and the lungs. Dar and Mahante find evidence that inflammation in the lungs can affect inflammation in the gut and vice versa. Dar and Mahante also point out that even before COVID-19, gut health and immunity to infectious disease are considered. Studies have been done to show animals who consume unhealthy diets produce more inflammation than animals who don't. Unhealthy diets include high amounts of fats, sugars, and processed foods. In contrast, consumption of healthy foods that contain fiber increase diversity in the gut, which increases intestinal health. Another paper I looked at was COVID-19, the inflammation link and the role of nutrition in potential mitigation. This was done by Ioannis Zapatakis, Ronan Iordan, Catherine Norton, and Alexandros Tsoupas. They focus mostly on inflammation and find that poor nutritional status leads to disease such as diabetes, chronic lung disease, cardiovascular disease, obesity, and more. They also talk about how anti-inflammatory therapies may lower the risk of severe outcomes to COVID-19. They suggest maintaining nutritional status may be crucial at this time. They find a healthy diet can offer beneficial macro and micronutrients that may help protect people's immune responses to pathogens. So, my recommendation based off of my research is eating a whole food, high fiber diet may lower the risk of severe outcomes to COVID-19 and protect our gut microbiome as a whole. Whole foods are any food that is unprocessed and unrefined. Usually any food that does not come in a wrapper is considered a whole food. This includes whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. Eating a whole food diet introduces many nutrients that are destroyed during processing methods. Whole food consumption increases the diversity in our guts, which can build a strong immune system that can fight off pathogens. Many doctors and nutrition scientists are studying the effects the microbiome has to the outcome of COVID-19. Eating more whole, rich foods can not only lower the risk to chronic disease and obesity, but may help prevent bad outcomes if COVID-19 is contracted. A diet focusing more on fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, nuts, and seeds can support the immune system and protect different viruses. Eliminating processed foods, junk food, and alcohol from the diet may be beneficial in helping the body fight off pathogens. Fiber is the indigestible part of a plant-derived food. When consumed, it can help support the immune system. Fiber is composed of building blocks and chemical bonds that cannot be broken apart by human cells. Instead, the microorganisms and the microbes can break these bonds, ferment the fiber, and use it to get rid of toxic chemicals in our body. This promotes good bacteria to grow and inhibits harmful bacteria from spreading throughout the body. A fiber-rich diet can help manipulate the microbiome, allowing it to develop microbes that can strengthen the lining of the gut, which reduces inflammation and can lower the risk factors of some medical conditions. Adding a variety of whole foods will fuel the gut with plenty of vitamins and minerals. Some fiber-rich foods you may want to consider are whole grains, fruits, vegetables, beans and legumes, and nuts and seeds. Some tips on how to add these foods to your diet are starting your day off with cereal that includes bran or whole grain, adding beans to soups and salads, and eating raw fruits and vegetables as a snack. In conclusion, I believe that implementing a whole foods, high fiber diet will help keep our bodies so strong during this pandemic. It can be beneficial in not only preventing the bad outcomes to COVID-19, but help our body prevent other health conditions as well. So these are all the references that I used. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.